Con, you the best.
Hey, what's poppin', y'all? It's your boy Icon Got You, aka the voice of the casual, aka Mr. Leather on Butt. I'm back, man. Okay, so let me ask you this. So that's like you kind of in reference. I'm just gonna caveat off of that. So that's like you kind of in reference to technology being the slingshot that kind of propels us into the new era.
Yeah, yeah. And
You,
yeah, that
you,
was a kind of like a, how can I say? That was kind of like a concept that I was speaking about. It was an analogy, and then what I said was, we are in the times. We are, and when by we, I mean the content creators and the small independent content creators. We're in the times of David and Goliath, and Goliath meaning these bigger companies, the corporations, right? Those are the Goliaths. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're evil or have ill intentions. Just means that they're larger conglomerates. And then the Davids are, the small content creators. The more lean businesses that have smaller business models and infrastructure and smaller staff base, right? So when the times of David and Goliath, and then technology is the slingshot. The story of David and Goliath was, David killed Goliath with the slingshot. So, but this analogy of kill just means compete. We're able to maybe kill the competition, not kill them in a literal sense, but a figurative sense of like, okay, we're able to compete now. But the rock inside the slingshot is collaboration. We have to collaborate and work together. But then that collaboration has to be um, uh, horizontal, not vertical. Horizontal meaning peer to peer. All the smaller content creators on entry level stages were all mobilizing and organizing and working together to compete. And it's a necessary competition because we haven't received the payouts, um, you know, relative or relevant to the output that we produce as content creators. Um, and not for this is everybody doesn't deserve the maximum payout because there is an oversaturation of content creators. I'm speaking specifically for the content creators who are serious, who have their 10,000 hours, which is 10 plus years. You've been grinding and working and you're serious about what you do, then you should definitely be able to provide and produce for yourself because you're creating so much content. That's quality too.
that's powerful. That's powerful. So let me ask you this, then, brother. Let me ask you this. So you got into the music industry. Can I ask what age you even got into the music industry? Because you are very knowledgeable, brother. So I just want what age were you when you got in?
Well, man, eh, I would say like teens, like maybe like maybe like 18, probably like 18.
18. So and then you were with G. Like, how did you get like what? How did that come to be? Like, what's the backstory behind how you got into the music industry? Like, well, involved in like music industry, not so much. Like, were you signed or anything ever
Well,
in your like
yeah,
ever?
well, yeah,
Oh,
for sure. But
who
so
were you,
the thing of,
oh, oh, I was just gonna who were you signed to if you don't mind me asking?
I got you. Let me give you the backstory.
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
how I got into the music industry was just doing open mics, trying to network, trying to go to different recording studios and you know run down on people who who were who I felt could propel my career. So I'm just rapping. I want to rap. You start rapping to everybody. You start networking. You start meeting. You start meeting different producers, and then this you going to record at this studio, this engineer, um, this engineer knows this producer, right? This producer made this beat for this artist, right? and then now this producer is making a how can I say, this producer is making um a connection for you with the artist, right? Like, yo, look, yo, this artist is gonna be in the studio at this time, right? He's not officially telling you, but he's telling you. So he's telling you like, yo, just make sure you book some studio time around this time so you could catch this motherfucker in the elevator, and hopefully rap for him in the elevator, and or catch him parked outside the studio and just rap for him, and hopefully you'll get you'll get signed, right? That was like the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I spent years just doing that, studio to studio, just rapping, 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 and then I met a producer, um, and the producer connect me with an artist, um, and then artist A&R, and then they asked me, okay, what do you want to do in music? I said, man, I just want to be the best. And then a contract was drawn up. I signed the contract, um, not knowing that the contract wasn't in my best interest in terms of like, it was a 10 option. I signed the 10 option deal. Um, and then I signed a management deal, and the management deal at the time was, I think, 35%. So long story short, I inadvertently signed myself into of a
Hold
musical
on, hold on,
slavery.
hold on, brother. Hold on. Repeat that real quick. You kind of cut out a little bit. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, yeah. I said I inadvertently signed myself into a so to say musical slavery, because I didn't realize that, because I didn't have a entertainment attorney. So then then when I realized that I was in a bad contract, I was okay with it because I felt like, well, at least bare minimum, I'm gonna get free studio time. And then, I was showing up to the studio religiously, recording music, recording fucking so much music, and none of the music ever seen the light of day. And then I started to get frustrated, like, yo, what the fuck is going on? And there was no progress with, the music that was being recorded. And then I felt like some of the music that was being recorded was used as inspiration for other music that got recorded after my music, and that kind of was like the last straw. So I had to get, kind of aggressive, and got myself out of the contract, and that was just the gist of it.
Respect that. Yo, I
So,
respect that.
and
You
I
saw
have,
your worth.
yeah, for sure, but I'm careful. I'm careful at times. I'm careful at times not to name names and stuff like that, because
I
sometimes
understand.
you can open up a can of worms by, you know dropping certain names.
I understand. Trust.
Yeah.
I understand. Um, let me ask you this. You had mentioned it's actually like kind of a double-ended question.
Okay.
So you had mentioned one, an entertainment lawyer. One, I
Yeah.
want you to please describe to the people the importance of an entertainment lawyer, just for the young artists, because like I always try to preach to like all my young artists. Anytime I meet a young artist, I always preach to them. You should learn the game you're getting into. I always say that to
Well,
them.
what a game is to the game is changing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you not only do you need an entertainment lawyer, but you need a IPA, which is an intellectual property attorney. So the deal I signed a 10 option deal. So that's, listen, that's 10 options of albums. So I didn't even know what the fuck options was, right? So you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
10 fucking, that's a lifetime contract. Like, you're literally selling your soul and don't even realize what you're doing, right? So so you know having a just understanding that you're going into business. So I think one of the biggest mistakes I made as a young artist is I was so blinded by the artistry of it, I didn't realize that everything was business. Everything, everything, everything was business. And and this is why having managers are so important, because if you don't have a man, like, the manager is the one that reinforces, okay, this is a business. And when you go in la la land and your head is in the clouds, and at times it should be because you're an artist, right? So you gotta, in the clouds is where you fucking create, right? So I didn't have I didn't have any outside management, right? So when I signed a management deal, these were people in the industry. These were people that work with the label. So when I signed the management deal, um the people that I signed to in the management deal, they didn't give a fuck about me, right? They didn't sign me because they wanted to make me the next great thing. They signed me because I had a very high level writing ability, and they could use my music and my ideas the same way a vulture uses a carcass laying on the floor dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I didn't even understand none of this at the time, right? So I think it's very important for artists now to not only have proper legal representation, but to also be knowledgeable about what the legal representation is actually representing. So you need to learn all facets of the game. Like, okay, now the big thing is 360 deals, right? So what is a 360 deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to do your work. You got to do your homework. You know, what is a IPA? What is an intellectual property attorney? What does an IPA protect? Why does the IPA have to protect this? What is publishing? What is your licensing rights? Like, you gotta own every part of you, and it's so important. And you see, and this is and it's tough because a lot of artists don't realize that you gotta. It's important to write your raps, right? Like, a lot of people nowadays, artists, they don't write their music. They don't use a pen and a pad. There's no real thought into the creation of their art. It's like a free-flowing freestyle kind of a thing, and they just smoke weed. Artists just smoke weed, get high, think of a line, record it, go back. It's like a lot of, like, the engineers doing most of the work, right?
Mm-hmm.
The younger generation needs to go back to writing their music on pen and paper. So now it's a more well thought out concept and idea. And then when you have more practice with writing and thinking and organizing your thoughts, it's going to be easier for you to retain your business information and then hire the right people to, protect in business.
So wait, hold on then. Let me ask you this. When you see, like, when you say about, how, the pen game of the artist is, like, it's pretty much watering down as the time goes. With the time, I think we could both agree on that.
Yeah.
So, this is my theory. I have a running theory, and I just want to see how you feel about. We could just call
Right.
it just a running theory. This is my running theory. I feel that they want to start to cultivate artists and more industry plant the industry, in a sense. They want to start being able to basically pop out artists like they pop out Build-A-Bears. So, and then also, I think that there's something deeper with it, with this Drake and Kendrick thing. Like, even when I saw Drake introducing the AI music, I feel like they're trying to get people accustomed to hearing AI generated music. So now they can start to dumbify lyrics and start just basically putting out more music without the artist actually having to be in that studio for hours and hours smoking weed and cutting. That cuts a lot of cost out. and now they can
Well,
focus on cultivating the image of the artist.
well, what it is it's just about control. So again, this is why it's very important for people to watch my content, go on my Instagram, the smart guy underscore, and watch my Instagram lives and look at my interviews and really dissect the content that I create and the context that is within the content that I create. So it's very important for us to create our own industries, because it's a very scary thing to have technology that can um, generate music from a dead artist. Because Tupac, let's say for example, now the publishing becomes more more valuable, right? So meaning like, okay, if Tupac is not alive anymore and his family doesn't own the Tupac estate, then if they pass laws that allow you to sell AI generated lyrics from an artist because the estate has to actually clear that, then now you can make a new All Eyes on Me album and sell it, as Tupac, but it was AI generated. And then now you have artists who don't even have to, like, you're removing the the impact that an artist has on the fans. So now why would I even need any type of an artist? This is why it's important for us to, create our own industries, right? It's very important for us to create our own industries. It's very important for us to have conversations like this and not allow um, technology to to take over and destroy art and artistry, right? Um, I don't know about Drake. I don't know about Kendrick. I'm not going to be distracted by whatever quarrel they're having musically, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
our focus needs to be on making sure that we're getting politicians elected that's going to pass laws that actually protect us. I think it's very important for us to start understanding political science and making political science cool, right? I think it's very important for us to make actual law cool, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
can start being knowledgeable about what the fuck is going on in the world. And and for Christ's sakes, not not being distracted by bullshit and misinformation and propaganda and media, right? So um there's gonna be a time to have fun and leisure. Now it's not that time. It's time to fucking go to work. It's time to build. It's time for you, brother, to build your platform. And I love that you're you know having me on as a guest, right? It's time for us to build our own radio stations. It's time for us to get our own satellites. We got a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do as just as a culture.